Hi everyone, I welcome you all to this video on our channel Thus Language Nest. If you don't know me, my name is Jaspreet. I'm a German teacher and I live in Germany. In this video, we are going to talk about the important points and tips on learning German language. We are also going to focus and talk about in detail about the problems of the students which they come to me while learning German language. So without any further delay, let's get started. So, what are the important points that you need to keep in mind while you're learning German and maybe before you start learning German language? So these points that we're going to discuss today are based on actually many problems that students come to me with and that I have to actually explain and tell them again and again. And I don't want you to make that same mistake or maybe, think about it over and over again. So first point, you actually really need to ask yourself, why do you need to learn the language? Why do you want to learn the language? Define the purpose. So let's suppose if in case you're a person who wants to study in Germany or you want to live in Germany for any reasons, let's say work, or maybe you're coming because your spouse is here, family is here, whatever it is, whatever the reason is. But if in case you're willing to come to Germany and you want to settle here, at least let's say to live and work and earn money, let's say for 5-6 years, 10 years, and then go back or settle permanently, you need to learn the language. That's the truth, right? So if in case you understand that, then it's going to be really easy for you to accept it. Many students who have problem are just not ready to accept that they have to learn the German language. I mean, come on. Of course, when you go to your country, the language of that country, the language of your country needs to be spoken, right? That means if in case, let's say you're living in States, then you need to learn English to survive there. If in case you're living in Germany, then you need to be able to learn German language in order to survive here. If in case you're living in India, for example, then you need to know the local language in order to survive there, right? So that's why, first of all, accept that you have to learn the language. Without it, it's not going to work. Number two, there is no shortcut. I am sorry, but if in case I've broken anybody's hearts here, I am sorry, but there is actually no shortcut of learning a language. That's a sad point or a sad reality, I must say, when I see actually a lot of institutes, a lot of teachers, a lot of social media people telling you, coming on social media platforms, big platforms, and telling you, oh, it's just a matter of 40 days or 45 days. Even today, I just saw some advertisement and there it was written, learn German language in 45 days. Sorry, that is not possible. That's a lie. So if in case anybody is telling you that you can learn German language in 45 days, 60 days, no, it's not possible. So please accept the fact that German language learning is not a shortcut. It's definitely not a shortcut. But saying that, this statement of mine should not discourage you or should not disappoint you. You know why? Because you want to come to Germany and want to make your life here. Yes? So, coming to the point number one, accepting the fact that you will have to learn the German language, right? Now, when I say it's not possible in 45 days, the next question that you might want to ask me is, okay, just please tell me, then how much time do I need to invest? Or how much time will it take for me to learn German language and to be able to communicate and to be able to speak like natives? The answer to this question is, it completely depends on you, your speed of learning, how much time are you investing in that, okay? So let's say, for example, you are a student who has just finished their bachelor's and want to come here for master's studies, which most of my students actually do and have done in the past also. In that case, you might have a specific time. Let's suppose you finished your graduation and you want to study 2 masters. So you have a time, you have preparatory time. And if in case you can invest 2 hours of classes and 2 hours of self-study, I shall say that then you can estimate around 10 months of time to complete till the level B1.2 or B2.2 also. But again, that needs at least 3 to 4 hours of study. That needs that needs basically the hard work. you have to be consistent in that. You have to be consistent. Without consistency, it's not going to work. Yeah. The next point that I've written over here in my notes that I want to talk about is setting a realistic target. See, there are many students who come to me and say, ma'am, we just want to, just make us learn the language in 3 months. I just want to finish my B1 in 2 months. And there are many institutes actually who are, selling their services, their classes, just by saying that doing till the 3rd level of the language is possible in 2 months. But that's a false, that's a lie. See, if in case you want to just earn a certificate, that's a very different story. Then maybe it is possible. Clearing an exam is different, and be able to speak is different. When I came here to Germany for the first time, I had already done C1. I was already teaching for 4 years at max, and then when I came here, and still then I had this hesitation, let's say this problem of completely understanding the native expression of the people here. If in case I feel that way, it's not very normal for a student to feel that way also. Right? So set a realistic target for yourself. Let's say if in case you say, okay, I give myself 2 months and I want to finish one particular level. 2 months is hardly, what it is, 8 weeks. 2 months is just 8 weeks. And in 8 weeks, if in case you're able to finish one particular level, but that level that you finish in 8 weeks should be 100%. Perfection is the key that you guys need to understand, which many people don't. So if in case you are taking 8 weeks to finish a particular level, which is a good amount of time, I say it's a reasonable good amount of time, wherein you're putting at least 3 hours of work, or let's say between 3 to 4 hours of work, almost 5 to 6 days a week. If in case you're doing that and able to finish one particular level in 8 weeks, wonderful. But make sure that that level that you're finishing in 8 weeks is 100%. It's up to 100%. It's as per your expectations. You know what, the target that you set, goals that you've set, maybe if in case you've booked an exam date, you should be able to write the exam on that particular date. That is important. Yeah. All right. So the next point actually is, now these days, before of course COVID, but especially at the time of when COVID hit the world, digitalization and online courses and online classes took boom. Actually, there was a boom, and people started coming online, started making YouTube videos, and started teaching. Maybe recorded sessions, and etc. What I want to actually tell you is, people come to me and they say, oh, why don't you have a free course? Why would I sell a talent of mine for free, for that matter, is the question that I also want you guys to ask yourself. Ask yourself, why should one who has actually invested so much time in learning, in making progress, had taken pains, help is something different, but giving a service completely free, I don't understand that, right? So by that point, by putting this point, I only want to say, you can maybe, let's say, do a particular level, very initial level, or very initial classes, let's say 50 classes, 40 classes, or 50 classes, or 50 hours of course you can do as an introductory course to the language. That is possible. That is free of cost, also available to you. But beyond that, you need a particular teacher. You need somebody to guide you, to actually answer your doubts, who should be able to actually tell, okay, this is where you're wrong, and this is what you can do right, and this is how you can make progress, or this is a strategy you should follow. So there are many people who everybody see these days that we have these recorded classes sessions going on, and they're telling that the traditional method is very costly, it might take time. So in that case, you should actually ask yourself again, remind yourself the purpose of the language. If in case you're learning language just for the sake of hobby, go ahead with it. Go ahead with the Kostenlos, meaning free of cost courses. You can go ahead with the recorded sessions with the very low fees or something. who actually do not worry about the feedback of you, these people are just not too much worried about how have you understood the language or how have you progressed in the language. I would suggest, if in case you're a student, if in case you're a person who wants to come to Germany and want to do studies, wants to do bachelor's or master's and make a living here, work here, earn money here, you need to know the language. And having recorded classes of that or just learning through YouTube is not a very good idea. Yeah. Sorry again if in case I'm hurting somebody's sentiments, but that is the truth, and we are going to talk about the truth here today. The next point that I have on my list as the problems that people mention is how and what can we study on our own. Now, when I say that it's important for you to invest time yourself while learning the language, then there are a lot many things actually that you can do yourself, because these are the questions that people ask me. What can we study on our own? When I tell them, please do self-study. So I would say as follows: see videos, see a lot of videos. And by videos, I don't mean go and watch Netflix series in German, watch your favorite series in German, change the language to German, or start seeing news channels. If in case you're a beginner, these two options are very difficult for you. Even if in case somebody who's an intermediate level, let's say B1, even for the beginner on B2 level, it's difficult. It's really difficult for you to understand the slang and the speed with which these guys speak in movies, or let's suppose in news, So I would suggest that there are beautiful channels out there on YouTube which have small films, which have a lot of content, which is specifically made for the people who are learning German. This content, these videos, these films that I'm talking about, of which I will actually make a separate video also. Not going right now into that detail, otherwise the video is going to be too long. So if in case you are a beginner, or let's suppose you are at an intermediate level, go and watch some nice movies, some nice films, some nice videos which are not too difficult to understand as per your level. Try and watch them. Engage yourself with the language, number one. Number two, learning vocabulary. See, if in case you're attending any particular course, whether it's an online course, it's a classroom course, or it's a recorded version of it, in all the cases, nobody's actually going to sit and make you learn the vocabulary. So learning vocabulary on your own is very, very important. Without it, it's not going to work. Vocabulary is the key to any language. If in case you can even compare with your own language, whatever language that you speak. If in case you don't know the words, it's not, what are you going to say actually? If in case you don't know the words, what is table called in German, or let's say what is a computer called in German. Computer is called in German, by the way, but let's suppose what is TV called in German, what's chair called in German. If you want to go to supermarket and you are thirsty and you want a water bottle, or you want to buy water, if in case you don't know the words, you're going to never be able to frame sentences. And that is why learning vocabulary is the thing that you have to do on your own only. No teacher can actually make you learn the vocabulary. Definitely we can give you tips. Definitely I will also be making a video on tips on how to learn the vocabulary and how to retain it into mind. That's a different chapter. But learning the vocabulary is one thing that you have to do on your own. With that, it makes me come to the next point, the third point, practicing grammar. Now, there are certain people who say, oh, just don't pay attention to grammar. Grammar is not necessary. Even there are many students who come to me and say, oh, please don't teach us grammar. We don't want to learn grammar. We're just not concerned about it. Just, make us learn how to speak. Just give us sentences how to speak. See, it's not that. It cannot work like that. Any language, if in case you don't know the basic structures, you will never be able to frame sentences. So don't go crazy about grammar, but that is the truth, that you need to learn and practice grammar. Grammar is something which is going to be covered in the classes at any institute, at any online classes or offline classes. It should be covered. That's a must. If in case somebody is not covering it, you are at a wrong spot. So that is covered by the teacher itself, but practicing it is important. You know, what I studied on, let's say, on the 1st of a particular month, and right now I'm on the 15th of that particular month. What did I study on the 1st? What was the topic that was taught? Revising grammar is very important. Also, this entire grammar is actually linked. All the topics are actually linked, even if in case at different levels, everything is linked to each other. So the more you practice, the better it's going to get. The next point that I want to talk about, as in the next point under the point of what can you actually study on your own, is trying to be able to speak. You know, now if in case you are living in a country where it's not a German speaking country, you are not living in a surrounding where people speak German. If it's, you're not living in Switzerland, or you're not living in Austria, or you're not living in Germany, you're living in some country like India, wherein people, the national language of the country is not German. If in case you're living in a country like that, then I would say, and you do not have many opportunities to speak or to talk in German, then you need to, or maybe what you can do is write. You know, input and output both are important. So input is going to be reading and watching videos or listening, right? So these two are going to be input, and the output is going to be schreiben and sprechen. That means speaking and writing. So if in case you're able to speak, wonderful. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour conversation, okay. If in case you're not getting that opportunity to do it, then try writing it. It can be chats, it can be, you know, messages, or let's say it can also be text writing, Zusammenfassung, which is a summary of a particular text. Let's say you read a text in your class, you did a lesson text and you read something on a particular topic. Next day you want to express yourself, but you're not able to speak and you have a lot of fear on that. Write a small text as a summary, or write brief, write letters. You know, everybody knows, whoever is learning German language, everybody knows that brief schreiben, das heißt writing letters, is in the syllabus. Yeah, that you have to write also in the exam, even if in case you're writing Goethe or you're writing Telg, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this brings me to the fourth and our final point, which is motivation and consistency. Now, both the words are actually very abstract, very abstract. I mean, one can motivate you, but up to only an extent. You have to bring that motivation from within yourself, otherwise it's going to be difficult. Consistency again. So let's suppose I have a lot of motivation and I want to learn the language, I want to do wonders, I want to do this, I want to do that. There are a lot of people, also me, who are very energetic and who want to do a lot of things in their life. But if in case you're not consistent with one particular or with all of the things that you're doing in your life, then it's going to be very difficult. You might give up, I would say. Not fail, but you might give up. That's a possibility. And giving up is not the option. It's very important to have this attitude of not giving up. I don't want to be philosophical over here, but giving up attitude doesn't bring anybody further in life, be it anything. It can be German language learning, it can be your studies, it can be your job, it can be fitness, it can be food, it can be anything. But being consistent and the attitude of not giving up is very important. Now you might ask me the question, okay, but what do I do about motivation? I don't have motivation to go and sit with the books, read text or watch videos, or maybe I start watching videos and I go to sleep, or I don't have motivation to talk. I just don't want to do it, but I also want to do it. If in case you're in that category, I would say make a schedule of yourself and give yourself some breaks. With people, there are actually a lot of intensive courses that happen. intensive language learning courses that happen not only with German language but with many other languages also. There are many intensive language learning courses. The problem with these courses is the burnout thing. The burnout thing is not only usual in while we are working in the job life or in the work life, but it is also there in the study life. Yeah, so if in case, let's suppose you're studying 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's not going to work. So let's suppose for me also, then while I was doing C1, which requires a lot of effort, trust me, I was going to my classes twice or thrice a week, and I was doing 1 hour of self-study every day. That's it. But I was also planning breaks for myself. So if in case you're a person who is struggling with motivation, this is the tip for you, my advice for you, which is plan a schedule. Make a schedule for yourself wherein you have, let's suppose on Monday you are learning 1 hour, you're giving 1 hour of self-study. On Tuesday also, because when you do on Monday, the motivation is still there for Tuesday. Give yourself a break on Wednesday. Don't do it. Do something else. Do it the next class can, the next self-study session can be on Thursday, or maybe give a break like that. So plan it the way that you can concentrate. You need to know what kind of a learner are you. There are people who might learn, the best way for them to learn is visually. There are visual learners, there are audio learners, there are people who can grasp things and remember them better when they listen to something. But there are people who are visual learners, for example like me. I'm also a visual learner. In case I see something, then I can remember it a lot easily and up to a very long time as compared to what I listen to. So you need to know what kind of learner are you, and then make a strategy accordingly. Yeah. And as the last point, the last key, which I've already mentioned, but I also want to focus onto it once again because it's very important, that is not giving up. I am with you. Everybody is with you. If you have your family, you have your friends, you have a support system that supports you. Trust in yourself. You can do it. If in case you are in this world, you can do it. German language learning is not impossible. It is possible. It's just like any new subject, any new class that you come in while you're learning in school. When you were also in your school, if in case you remember, every new class, every new exam was difficult for you. But when you look back now, you don't see it a lot difficult. You don't see it as a very big challenge. You see it like, oh, okay, it was not that hard. So have this attitude. Believe in yourself. In case you're not able to do today, it's okay. Don't panic. You will be able to do tomorrow. Especially to all my students, ex-students and current students, I would advise you this. Just don't give up. Yeah, you can do it. So with this, the video has come to the end. I hope that you really liked the video. It was helpful to you. I might have added something, contributed something to your language learning. If in case you have any questions, any doubts, I would be really glad and happy to help you all. I love you all. Bye.